have with us Dikshant Chawla, Gurashish Singh, and Hatinderpal Singh from PEC 2020 batch. I welcome you all. Thank you for joining us today. Gurashish and Hatinderpal are analysts at Bain and Company. Dikshant is a junior solution delivery analyst at Mckinsey, and previously he has worked at O9 Solutions. All of these are amazing and reputed consulting firms. And today we'll discuss their journey and experiences from PEC to MBB. MBB, as you all must be wondering by now, are the three biggest consulting strategy firms. M stands for McKinsey, the first B stands for Bain and Company, and the next B is Boston Consulting Group or BCG. So now I would like to hand over the stage to Dikshant, Gurashish, and Hartinder to tell us about their journey and experiences. Over to you all.
Thank you, Sukhmanpreet, for introducing us for this quick introduction. Hi, everyone. I am Hatinder, as Sukhman very well introduced. I am currently working with Bain and Company, and I've been here for last 1.5 years or so. And yeah, I graduated in 2020, a pass out of mechanical engineering. Other than that, I believe we can go ahead with a quick round of introductions first before I introduce the topic itself. We can proceed ahead with the talk. Yeah. Over to you, Dikshant.
Surely. Thanks, Hatinder. Hi, everyone. I'm Dikshant Chawla. And like Hatinder, I'm also a 2020 graduate with my majors in mechanical engineering. And currently, I'm working with Mckinsey as a junior solution delivery analyst. And before that, I have worked with O9 Solutions for 6 months. So yeah, that has been my corporate journey so far. And I would just one more thing that I wanted to add. It's good to see all of your faces. Doesn't matter if you're on your bed or just walking by. It would be great to see faces rather than seeing these empty black screens with your roll numbers and names. So yeah, good to have your faces on. Yeah. Over to you, Gurashish.
Gurashish, I don't think we can hear you. Gurashish, I don't think we can hear you. Sorry.
You're on mute, I guess.
Yeah.
Can you retry? Can you try to rejoin in the meanwhile? We'll start it. Yeah. Okay, in the meanwhile,
yeah. I think we can start. Do you want to present or should I present?
I think Nishchay would be able to help us on this one.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Waiting for you, Nishchay. So by the meantime, Nishchay presents, as Sukhman mentioned, MBB, consulting, few jargon, right? So what is consulting and what is management consulting and what is MBB? So basically consulting is everything when you want to give advice to someone, right? You try to consult someone, they give you recommendations or advice. That is the same case here. You visit a doctor, they give you consultation. And that is the same case here, that in a management consulting, we provide consulting services to the senior staff of various companies. It could be tech companies, it could be FMCG, it could be oil and gas companies, whoever needs expertise driven from us, they come to us and they ask for the help. And then, of course, we consult and provide that advice. Now, you might be wondering why companies come to us. They themselves are technical experts in their field. Why would they want external, people to join in their firms and then, drive their operations? So how consultants and, management consulting as a whole industry takes its lead and, it sells itself is that fact that it has a lot of outside perspectives that they can bring into a firm and then help them drive their decisions. Usually what happens in a large MNC or a corporate firm is that once their cycle starts, it's difficult for them to break their own chain of commands or how they operate their firms. So a consultant, when they bring in their outside perspective on how different firms are working in the similar field, that helps them solidify that yes, we can also change or improve our operations in whatever manner they want. So that is where management consultants are prove their worth, and that is where they fall in. Now what is I've told you about what is consulting, what is management consulting, right? The senior staff of the firm. What is MBB? MBB, as Sukhman mentioned, is McKinsey, Bain, and BCG. Now, why do we call it an MBB, and why there are so many other consulting firms? MBB is one very prestigious group within the consulting space, I would say. These firms are very well reputed because of the quality of the work that they've done so far, and their history with the different FMCG Fortune 500 companies have mostly come to these three firms for the getting consultation and advices on their operations. Now many consulting firms exist outside of MBB, of course, and there are very specific topic led consulting firms. MBB as a whole has multiple topics that they provide consultation on. It could be a technical consulting where we could provide an introduction on what is their like the technical architecture of a company. We can provide consultation there. Operational consulting, where we can guide companies on their organization structure and operations as such, and many more. And there are boutique consultants also, where they are very specific and very niche about the topics, and that is where they provide the consultants. Basically USP of selling their products. Other than this, consulting firms also operate in a knowledge center / consulting office model, where a company could have its research arm that is solely focusing on research and analysis, and then they correlate and work as an expert delivery with the consulting office that directly deals with the clients. Now we as PEC alumni, we would like to present it to you that I work in BCN, which is Bain Capability Network. Gurashish is with Bain Capability Network, and Dikshant is with MCKC, which is McKinsey Knowledge Network. Now, all these are expert delivery networks where we leverage our, engineering background and sometimes our, strong Excel and PowerPoint to provide case teams that work directly with the clients with in-depth analysis of the problems that they might have. And that is where we pitch in. Now, to add on to this, Gurashish, Dikshant, do you have any points? I would really like you to pitch in here also.
Yeah, Dikshant, you can go first.
Yeah, just one small point, I think very well covered by Hatinder. Just
Thanks.
like as he mentioned, we as knowledge experts, we also deliver as in consulting industry, we help in certain solutions delivery or building the capability of the clients. So that is also another arm where the consulting or the knowledge centers works on, and it is primarily focused on capability building. So that's what these consulting firms also do.
Yeah, to add more light to what BCN and McKinsey's knowledge centers role is, that internally they are divided into various teams which are based around products or a certain theme of services. For example, Hatinder works in a team which is used to support the varied kind of asks all around the globe, while I just focus on a theme of corporate development for Bain. Well, Dikshant works on a product which solves a particular kind of problem for its clients, for McKinsey's clients. And similar is the structure of other teams in BCN as well. Dikshant can point out for McKinsey, but there are teams which are focused on pricing. There are teams which are focused on healthcare and sustainability, where they might be using the same kind of frameworks, ki data benchmark kar diya and competitive intelligence dal di, but for different kind of industries or different kind of geographies. It could be Middle East, it could be India, but the teams are divided in these kind of themes. And in case you join offices in BCN or McKinsey Knowledge Center, you would be working in one kind of team.
Right. Very aptly said, Gurashish. So yeah, basically BCN slash MCKC are organized in teams. At BCN we call them COEs, Centers of Excellence, and then at McKinsey they are simple as that. They are technical terms. I'm not sure about that. Although I did do an internship with MCKC, but I've forgotten in the gist of it. What is the team structure there, and. Yeah, I think that's about sums it up for consulting. I think we can move on to the next section. That where can you start as a first or a second year, right? I would let Dikshant take over from here. Thanks.
Sure. So yeah, considering like we guys like the major people who are attending this session are primarily in their first or second year right of the college, it's primarily a point that comes to your mind like where should I start? And just one small add to that is it's never too late to start, and it's a perfect time where you can start. So primarily the thing that we like to focus on in this section is that we should focus on skill development. So by skill development, what we try to say is that we should focus on building up soft skills as well as hard skills, because these are the two important things which is very important in the verse of the college. We majorly don't focus on building up soft skills. Interpersonal people skills like leadership, teamwork, problem solving, which we don't focus on primarily, and communication, which is a very important part. And many times in the college we feel like we're not that good at it, so that's like something we should actually focus on and never neglect upon. And the second thing is the hard skills. We should also focus on learning on hard skills, which can be like certain coding skills, or it can be primarily knowing about certain business knowledge about a particular sector, or it could be the major domain or the majors which you're working on, or the MS Suite skills, or there are lots of hard skills that you should be working on. So these are the two important segregation which we think like where you can start upon. And like we will like further like to advise you upon like what all were the personal skills or the things that we did in our first and second year that helped us or that shaped us in defining our journey paths. Yeah. Over to you, Hatinder, Gurashish.
Gurashish, you can begin this. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say from where I started was that I first cleared a lot of questions that I had in my mind. I first was interested into my core subjects. I did some internships into core, and then I also explored my interest into physics. But at the same time, what a great thing was for me that I had a passion for learning, and a lot of things I learned just out of curiosity are still helping me till now, and also helped me during my various interviews, various competitions, or anything where I had to prove myself. uh, we will be taking questions at the end, but I was from 2020 civil batch. And yeah, like adding on to what Dikshant said, that along with communication skills, you can also focus on generic good things which you can incorporate in your life, like good habits. First would be start reading books. This is something you will hear a lot after your college, but if you start doing this from your college, it's going to help you immensely. You can start reading like one of the books which helped me a lot to get exposure on how the corporate world works was how what I did not learn at a B school. uh, it's similar to what I did not learn at IIT. So you can read both of these books, same author. But this basically, if if I would phrase it in one way, if you are in first and second year, chances are you will be in a limbo. कुछ पता नहीं होगा कि क्या करना है, right? If someone asks you, you won't have a concrete answer unless you are, too passionate about coding or your core branch. बाकियों के लिए होता है कि वी विल सी, राइट? सो एक्सपोजर लेने के लिए क्या क्या है बाहर, यू कैन स्टार्ट रीडिंग बुक्स, एंड what I did not learn at B school is a great starting point.
Right, very rightly said, Gurashish. And I too feel I should read more books. I still have to, there are 3 books that are currently reading in progress, but no time to read them right now. So I'll just add a few couple of points what Gurashish and Dikshant very rightly said. When I was in first year and when I was in second year and consequently when I was in third year, I still did not have a very clear picture of what consulting is, very honestly speaking. But what I think I learned once I had that that framework or I clarity that in mind that what is consulting, what I felt was कि if we are more open towards reading news articles or just getting to know more things instead of just focusing on doing the college courses, that should be a good start to getting to know what is consulting and preparing for it. One key skill that consulting firms look for is your passion to learn, and the second biggest skill is your communication skills. If you can sell your idea, you might, like, you have a higher chance of excelling in consulting than another person. So building these two skills is nothing you can do, you cannot prepare them in a day or a night before your interview. It's something that you hone over time, and it's only buildable and not buyable. So think it from that lens, that if you are interested in consulting, or if it's something that excites you, and rather I would also put it towards other parts of other industries also, if not consulting, technology or coding, if that interests you, you should start reading about it from the get-go. Not waste ke I'll start later, when it's the time for internship I'll start preparing then, because it might get too late by then. We feel that right now, what would I understand, how would I pitch in, but building those skills up right from the get-go is the best way to go. And of course, as Gurashish mentioned, the books are the best way to start, right? And if you have any questions, of course, Google is your best friend. And if you want any more resource, Google is your best friend. Anything else, Dikshant, Gurashish? Yeah.
Just one thing comes to my mind. When I used to attend these sessions, I used to think कि in the end what is communication, right? So what I would say कि अपनी एक story बनानी start करो. Write it on a paper that everyone is the same amongst you. Ki everyone gave JE and came to some branch XYZ. Till then, most of the story is same. Apart from some extracurriculars कि कोई किसी basketball में था या कोई acting में था. But what's been your story? What have you explored? What have you not explored? What are you wanting to explore? ठीक है, क्या क्या सीख लिया अभी तक? Maybe it's PDC, maybe it's dramatics. Why do you like dramatics? ऐसे ऐसे क्वेश्चंस खुद से पूछो एंड एक बहुत अच्छी स्टोरी बनाओ खुद के बारे में, and presenting it in interview can be interpreted as communication, right? So basically in the end the problem you're solving is जब तुमसे पूछा जाएगा कि tell me about yourself, तुम बोलोगे तो 2 लाइन, but you have a lot of things to tell. ठीक है, तो that is the problem you can start with for your communication.
Yeah. That just reminded me one thing. I had this point in my mind in the morning, but I forgot right now. So I was a part of Punjabi editorial board in my college time for the 4 years here, and I was doing Cdgc on the side. And that's it. These two were the only committees I was a part of, committee/clubs. Now, if I see for myself right now, I would say PEB has done equally added. PEB has added equally the same amount of value as Cdgc did. Not that I was doing bhangra, but because I was building my network, opening up, socializing, and learning how to communicate my ideas across. That is not something you can just do it sitting at home, but you have to have that ground level experience. Be in one society, be in another society, or in a committee of sorts. Whatever it is, start involving yourself in more social activities where you get to speak more, where you can pitch in your ideas. So it's a good place to start.
I think I totally agree with both Hatinder and Gurashish. And in fact, like adding on both the points they both said, I think if I'll say my journey, how it has been and how I frame like the path that I had, is it's primarily around the story writing, that how I have written my story. So when I was in the first year of my college, it was like very much new to a college, and having like shifting my home from my hometown to a Chandigarh, it was a good amount of challenge for me also. But it was a bit overwhelming also, seeing like all the exposure that I had. Like it was a good exposure, and the first thing that I did was like learning how to manage academics along with the societies, because Like when you enter college, it's like there are lots of societies, and sometimes we have this thing in mind, okay, is it like actually worth of my time? And I would say it is actually the worth, your worth, the worth, because you won't realize that at that point of time. It seems like, okay, I'm wasting my evening or my precious time in doing activities which is like not actually good, but it actually shapes you what you are. If I'll say from my experiences, I was also a part of Punjabi Ed Board, so I did play two skits there. So it helped me build up that confidence going onto the stage and speaking out something. That was the skill that I learned from there. And I was also a member of Career Development Guidance Center, and I was leading the career activities there. And in the as Nishchay is working upon like organizing this Udan series, so we were also working on an in-person series that we used to organize for students, and that was one of the best, I would say, situational thing that helped me even in my interviews, because I worked on organizing Kaushal Tatparta, and I had that as a best situation handling example for my interviews also, as in like how I was able to manage out a team of 80 people and organizing a event for 900 students, and that was like a really good skill that I learned from that. And not only that, I would say there's a lot of networking that you get to learn and a lot of mentoring that you get from your seniors also, because having joined these clubs and societies or technical societies, you get to meet your seniors, you get to interact with them, like you get to understand what was their journey and what was their path that they did. So that actually helps you create your own journey or path. So I would say, like, be it anything, be it any technical project, the project of your majors, or be it any society project or any event, just do the best and try to make out as much as best you can from out of that. So yeah, that was like that's how I would say like my journey was. It was like I like in the initial year I joined around 7 clubs, and I didn't used to get time to manage the academics. So it was like quite difficult for me also. But though I used to study at late at night and used to work for all the clubs and societies during the day, so that's how I manage everything. But that was also something, a learning that I got, like how to manage time and how to manage expectations and everything.
Yeah, I think we can go to the next slide.
Sure. Can we move to the next one? Yeah. I think in this we'll cover about how should you prepare and what is the right mindset. I'll hand over to Gurashish on talking about this one.
Okay, so I'd say सबसे simple analysis, which I would talk in tangible things, ki what you can implement, right? So what I started was calendar for internships or placements or anything, higher studies or competitive exams. This is something first year के लिए, not that important, but for second year it's much more important. First year you can work on your grades, try to interact, whatever Dikshant said. But yeah, in the end, you also need to answer the same question, that what do you want to do after your college life? So at the back of your mind, that should be going on. For second year, it's much more important. For third year, it's even more important. I don't think third year is there in this session, but so second year or first year, depends on you. Calendar पे अपनी opportunities लिखो कि ये है. See which one do you like. Start with something कि I like these opportunities. A lot of times I get people asking me for XYZ opportunity, and then they don't even test out whether they like that thing or not, right? Which will in the end land you up in a job जो तुम्हें पसंद नहीं आ रही है, and then it's way more tough to get into something else. ठीक है? So first filter is what do you like. Second filter is are you good at it? If you really like it, get good at it, and you will crack it. But second thing is, if you are already good at it, try to improve it on it. For example, if you have made your mind ki you want to crack some consulting interview, right? And you think you have the themes that are required for consulting. For example, you have the analytical skills, and communication skills. Always there's some room for improvement, but then you start with ki, acha, what kind of things are asked in the interview, and it's a long term process. It's not like कि तुम एक दिन पहले उठो. That is also possible कि तुम एक दिन पहले उठो और कर लो. But what I did was I was in touch with some of my seniors 3-4 months back from my internship processes. उनसे ऐसी बात कर ली, then एक कोर्स कर लिया, फिर अभी भी मन नहीं है कि करूँगा कि नहीं करूँगा. In that internship interview, would I crack it or would I want to go into that opportunity or not? But थोड़ा धीरे धीरे I started improving on myself. ठीक है. So long term, I am a person जो long term में implement कर पाता है. अगर immediately दे दोगे तो I would not be able to perform my best. Right. So tangibly what I'm saying is you decide on कि Bain में I want to apply. Bain doesn't come for internships. Maybe JP Morgan comes for internships. Am I good at it? And is it something I want to go into? पढ़ो थोड़ा बहुत finance. I got the answer that I really loved financial accounting. So I started on the second step. Ki how do I crack the interview? Right. For that, again, the two things were finance and communication skills. So I prepared for both of them. And there was also ki qualifying test mein aptitude aata hai, which is something that applies to all the companies that come to our campus and all the opportunities. Most of the opportunities you will go for aptitude. GATE, CAT, GRE, GMAT, all competitive exams, higher studies, as well as your placement opportunities. So I think I started with this only actually. Dikshant and I were same in the same boat. He started studying aptitude. He went on for some internships. I went on for some internships, and then our mindset changed, and we landed up in some internship, and then we landed in some other job. The whole point is हमने हाथ पैर मारना नहीं छोड़ा. We tried on different things, got some answers for our questions. कि is it something I like? And I'm trying to keep it थोड़ा generic भी कि सिर्फ consulting पे apply ना हो. But अगर apply करोगे तो consulting पे भी bang on लगेगा और किसी और job पे भी bang on लगेगा. यही same journey. I think Hatinder can take now.
Sure. Thanks, Gurashish. I candidly said. How should you prepare? I think Gurashish has very rightly said, you should test it out if you actually like, and then start building on from there. I had a little bit of different journey for myself. So quick intro, going back to my introduction, during my third year internship, I did my internship in Mckinsey and Company, where Dikshant is currently working. But because of, the constraints with the hiring, they didn't give me the PPO. So I was sitting for placement cycle. I got, during my first, or I think it was the second week, and I got placed at Bain and Company, and that's why I'm here. And how my journey has been is that I started exploring during my second year itself, what is the different pathways that I can take from my engineering other than mechanical engineering, right? Directly going into production lines and, working there. I just wanted to test the waters before I committed to it. So what I started off was with, going into mechanical research or, robotics research. That was the first avenue that I wanted to test out. I applied to multiple internships, starting second year. But of course, I would, not get into them or, not make it through to the final round. And then during my third year internship cycle, I came across this name, McKinsey and Company, and that too because of the calendar that, it was published before that there is a company called McKinsey. I started reading about it. I found consulting industry very interesting, just for the fact that I get to not go on the job floor. I work from my desk, and that was the only selling point for me at that point. And then when I landed that internship after, having prepared and, given the interviews, I went with the mindset that I want to make sure that I like this field or not by the end of my intern. And while I was doing my internship, I only fell in love more stronger. That consulting is something that I want to pursue for my career in the next at least decade or so, if not more. And that is where, that sentiment grows stronger that, consulting is a good industry to work in. And it's not something, hawa mein baat kar rahe hain, inko kya pata hai? It's like a waste of time. No, it's not that. It has its impacts. It's just our impact is usually not tangible in the sense that it might be for firms or other industries. So that is where consulting separates itself, and that was the trajectory I took. And yeah, that's about it for me, I'd say. So yeah, just a closing point on this from my end. So the mindset would be open to opportunities and explore outside of what you would normally, or what your normal route would be. That if you're in electrical engineering, what is the normal route taken by the people who do engineering in electrical? Start thinking outside the lines and think if you like those or not. Crossing of things is much easier and much more resilient than liking something and basing your understanding on something that you might like. So think it from that lens. And Dikshant, if you have anything to add, please do. Thank you.
Surely, I think I totally agree with you. And I would say, like, though my journey was not that same, like everyone has their own journey path. And in my case, it was primarily like like when I was doing my internship, it was not like I ended up in an internship where I wanted to go, but in the internship where ended up, it was like it was in a hotel tech startup, and it was like for me, okay, whatever it is, I'll have to do my best there, and that's something is on the right mindset. Wherever you are, just try to perform your best there, and you'll definitely see a good outcome out of it. Because even if I was not liking my internship in the beginning, at the end of internship, I learned so many good skills in terms of like networking, the exposure that I gained from there, along with some other industry domains that I learned from there. It was a really good exposure, I would say. And then on the how should you prepare, I would just share a bit of my journey and how has it been. So what I believe is that it should be like more or less like a building blocks, as in like as Gurashish mentioned, what are the different steps that are required in the preparation or the selection process of any company. And in my case, it was like in the fourth year when companies started coming up for placements, though not much relevant for you guys. Like it's still like 2 years from now, but I was not able to clear any of the test or the aptitude test of any of those starting companies for almost like 3 or 4 dream companies that I wanted to go. I was not able to clear the first step also because I was actually focusing upon the final step, which is the interview part, and I was not actually paying stress upon how should I crack the aptitude part. So that was when I had a realization, okay, that's not how things work upon, and you should actually think from this perspective, like it's like a 3-step or a 4-step process, and you have to nail each and every step, and you have to be good at everything. So starting up with aptitude, because that's like something the bread and butter of every company that will be coming on campus. They'll want you to have a certain level of aptitude. That's like something you should start upon with. Once you are done with it, then you should focus upon your communication, or like there might be some GD or some other rounds of the for the companies. That is like the other step, and in that I would say reading newspaper or having knowledge about what all is happening in the world and building upon on my communication style was something that helped me. And the third thing that comes up is then the interview part, as in like where you have to show your impact that you have created, and adding on to the point that Gurashish mentioned, storylining your story and showing that how you have created an impact in your journey of college. So that's how you should like build up and take all the 3 buckets. Then only you can land up in, not just, I would say, not just in consulting, it's like be it any job, the process is still generic, because every company or be it anything, you have to be like good at all the steps once you have to clear it. Because think from this perspective, it's like you are proposing yourself as someone who they want to hire. And why should they hire you? Because if you will be able to create some value for them, then only they'll hire you. So yeah, that's like something you need to keep in your mind.
Just putting something in right mindset. उस क्वेश्चन का आंसर अकॉर्डिंग टू मी लॉट ऑफ थिंग times what happens is कि I have seen some of my friends do this कि I'm in XYZ branch, so I will do XYZ branch only. I've invested 4 साल into this. और even कई बार कि people are doing non-core but they end up realizing कि जिस चीज में वो थे they didn't like it, right? तो उसमें take action. Ask yourself कि मैं उस बारे में क्या कर रहा हूँ. Sometimes people do this कि people are really hardworking. वो internship semester में बहुत पढ़ रहे होते हैं, but they don't ask themselves कि I don't want to go into my core subject, तो मैं अपने non-core के लिए क्या initiative ले रहा हूँ. So what I'm trying to say is, first make your mindset and ask yourself कि are you taking any initiative for that. ठीक है, अगर अभी तुमने जो माइंडसेट लिया है वो बहुत बार गलत भी होगा. आई एम माई सेल्फ वन ऑफ दोज पीपल जिनका काफी बार जो चूज किया है it ended up being wrong and I changed my direction. And rightly एक right time पे direction को change करना, that is also a great mindset. And also even if you do something and end up realizing मुझे पसंद नहीं आया, जैसे मैंने GIS की internship की थी, then I also did finance related कुछ internship and it was a great learning. हर चीज में से कुछ ना कुछ learning तो आती है. दीक्षांत did that startup internship and उसमें से भी बहुत ज़्यादा learnings मिली दीक्षांत को. It wasn't कि I am experienced in hotel industry, but it was more कि I am experienced in working in a startup. So take everything as a learning and ask yourself whether you're taking a initiative in the direction that you're working for. People are there जो कि internships में बिना preparation के आ जाते हैं. So don't be that person. Try to put some kind of initiative. Internship तक नहीं हुआ कोई बात नहीं, next FTE तक तो हो ही जाएगा.
I think that is rightly said, and it's more about the point of having the right mindset. That if just believe in yourself. It's not like, okay, if I don't get one thing, it is not like my life is finished. Just believe in yourself, and that's like something I motivate myself with, because I believed in myself. I believe that I will be like, I didn't starting up with my college. My internship was not in consulting, or I didn't started up my job with Mckinsey. So that was like, I believed in myself. Okay, that is something I wanted to do and I can do. So that is like the main motivation that should be from your end, the learning attitude and having the right mindset. Okay, I can do this and I will do this, and having a belief that, okay, it's not like I can't do this and I'm not worth for it. So be it anything, you should have a self-belief and self-confidence about yourself, and working upon your skill is something that will lead you to where you want to go.
And how do you prepare का दीक्षांत ने आंसर तो दिया था, but उसका समराइजेशन ये है कि when you have made your mind, ask your senior कि कैसे क्रैक कर सकते हैं जिसका ऑलरेडी हो गया है. That's the best starting point. That's what I did for both of my opportunities. तो I'd say कि individually हर चीज को हम cater नहीं कर सकते कि कोडिंग की कैसे करो, कंसल्टिंग की कैसे करो. But yeah, you can start with any job opportunity by just asking the person that has cracked it. Higher studies में letter of recommendations. I know people जो end-to-end juniors की help करता है.
I think I totally agree with it. It's more like building up your own network and mentors. So find the right mentors who can guide you the steps they took and what was their journey, what helped them and what could have helped them. So that is how you can start carving your own path and finding like what is good for you.
कई बार ऐसा होता है कि because of the network you have, you end up deciding कि मुझे वही चीज करनी है जो मेरे सीनियर ने किया है, which is also not wrong. Nothing is absolute. Some people just decide on doing coding because they like what their senior said, and that's great. Like, you at least have made a good decision, conscious decision. I think what next slides, man. Okay.
Yeah, just one more thing. I think I'll add up on it. It's primarily related to my personal journey. It's just that I think I already stated upon that point. If you don't end up in your dream job at the beginning, or your job at your internship, it's not like something the life's gonna end, or it's not like, because I have seen personally it happened to me also, and it happens to many people that, okay, I didn't end up in a particular company which I wanted to do for an internship. Okay, it's just a 6 months of an internship. It's like something, a path of your learning journey. If you don't end up doing, or if you don't end up in the job that you wanted to go for, you can still learn the skills, because no one is stopping you from learning the skills. What matters is you have the right mindset, and you have you can try for it at some later point of stage. But it's just that don't dishearten yourself and don't feel like, okay, that's something I can't actually achieve upon, because that's like something I have personally seen happen to me, as well as some other people like have this mindset. Okay, it's internship is the only thing that we should work upon. So yeah, that was it. Being mindful of the time, I think we should open the floor for the questions. Yeah.
I think we have first JD sir here in the call. So before the questions, you would like to have a quick word from JD sir. So welcome, sir, and over to you.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, sir.
Hello,
Hi,
sir.
sir.
How are you?
Good to see all of you together again. Really wonderful to see you together.
You too, sir.
Yeah.
Told me that these three old friends are coming. मैंने कहा भाई फिर तो I should be there. I was not supposed to be here, but when I came to know that you people are here, so I made it a point that I should meet you. How are you all? Good?
All good, sir. All good.
Yes, sir.
Feeling a bit old, sir. हम 16 लगते थे SID में, ये 21 वाले join कर रहे हैं. So
Yeah.
So-
weird.
We do meet our junior just to feel that we have just passed out, because we always feel that whatever we are talking that happened just yesterday. I too feel so whenever I feel even the pass outs like you who are 2 or 3 years old. I meet the pass outs of 40 years, even 45 years old. They all pose like the same, and we have the same spirits. Good. I don't want to make this a formal discussion informal more, but really these three people have worked as the pillar to my office in Cdgc. All three core members, they work aggressively, and Gurashish, you will be amazed that the discussion on just on Friday, I was with Relene, the present head. I was seeing nowadays Jyoti and Dhaval, they are two boys who are looking at data of CDGC. नहीं यार वो मैंने कहा यार क्या नाम भूल गया मैं, आशीष नाम था उसका, तो लेके आ. प्रमोद को बोला, मैंने कहा लेके आ भाई, तू पहले लिस्ट लेके आ. Then I remembered you all by chance on Friday only, and he brought the list. And I remember these gems that I had with me on the first year when I joined as CDGC head. Too great. I listened to you all. Sabhi ko maine suna. I think now my words for the students who are listening to it on this Google Meet or on YouTube. Please, these your seniors are talking their heart out. Many a times when you come to understand that there is a really the situation which I am in, you feel very depressed. But when you hear from your seniors and you see that this is just a normal course of success, so you feel a little confident. I may want to tell you that this is the beauty of being at PEC. Appreciate this place. Appreciate the people, how they take time for you just for that you should be at ease. These three people may be having their lot of work, professional work for them, but why they have come today on the request of Nishchay, just because they must have been in the same state, they must be thinking that there was somebody at our times also who has helped us through. Just as they are saying, even if you are not getting the dream internship that you actually expected for, and later on when you crack even better, you see that I was dreaming too low. So that's what they are talking to you. I think wonderfully narrated. All of you have been going to be benefited from what they are talking for. Please listen to them, and I think take care of the situation that you are put in. Immediately after them, I think that Corona wave came over. Why we were able to sail through that, even at that time, with a great success, because we know that even if I have to handle 700 students here, I have a team of 700 who is waiting outside to help any one of the student. who feels himself to be in the trouble. So I say again, welcome to PEC, not only an institution, but a culture where everybody stands for you. You have to just find a right person who can diagnose you well. जैसे भी गुरशीश कह रहे थे, that's the best way. You think about something and you see कि हाँ यार इतनी opportunities आ रही हैं. You first of all you must know, and second that whom to approach. All may not be available to you all the times. You also should honor their time, but I think there must be somebody too good waiting for you to help you out whenever you need. It's a big institution carrying a great culture. I think that legacy should go on. Thank you. So nice of you. I thank you all three, but I think you will be continuing longer with the students. But one thing I still remember, we have already missed the party.
Oh, yes. We have.
I still remember that. And the next year, I had the same feeling, but I don't know when. But before I leave the office, I'll call you all a day. Okay? So three batches will be there at that time. And I'll really love to host you all again.
Yes,
Thank you.
Triple mask पहन के आ जाएंगे सर, आ जाएंगे हम.
Oh, yeah, please. ठीक है. So nice of you, and the students, please carry on with the things, and good to see you all in the right spirit. Thank you. So nice. Please continue. Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
It is always your encouragement that has been guiding us and the CDGC office forward. So thank you for joining us.
I think